Dr. Massalley, Africa Environmental Watch, what the coronavirus means for climate change. Lockdowns and social distancing won't save the world from warming. But amid this crisis, we have a chance to build a better future. Something strange is happening though. Not just the illness and death sweeping the planet, not just the closing of borders and bars and schools, the hoarding of wipes and sanitizers. Something else is afoot. In industrial countries like China and Italy, the air is now strikingly clean. Venice Grand Canal, normally fouled by boat traffic, is running clear. Industrial cities like Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Atlanta, the fog of pollution has lifted. Even global carbon emission has fallen. Coronavirus has led to an astonishing shutdown of economic activity and a drastic reduction in the use of fossil fuels. In China, measures to contain the virus in February alone caused a drop in carbon emission of an estimated 25%. The Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air estimates that this is equivalent to 200 million tons of carbon dioxide. This more than half the annual emission of Great Britain. In the short term, response to the pandemic seems to be having a positive effect on emissions. But in the longer term, will the virus help or harm the climate? To be clear, the coronavirus pandemic is a tragedy, a human nightmare, unspooling in overloaded hospitals and unemployment offices with unnerving speed, barreling towards a horizon darkened by economic disaster and crowded with portents of suffering to come. But this global crisis is also an inflection point for other global crises, the slower one with even higher stakes, which remains the backdrop against which modernity now plays. As the United Nations Secretary General recently noted, the threat from coronavirus is temporary, whereas the threat from the heat waves, floods, and the extreme storms resulting in the loss of human life remain with us for years. Our response to this health crisis will shape the climate crisis for decades to come. The efforts to revive economic activity, the stimulus plans, bailouts, back-to-work programs being developed now will help determine the shape of our economies and our lives for the foreseeable future, and will have effect on carbon emissions and evaporate across the planet for thousands of years. Climate change is harder to solve because it results from the sum of all greenhouse gas emissions and does require aggregate effort. Whereas government can force people to stay home, there is no global institution with enforcement power to require that nations curb emissions. Indeed, COVID-19 itself may actually erode public support for climate action as the pace of climate ambition wanes during times of economic hardship. What then can we do? We should use these statistics to educate and conscientize the nations for the fight against climate change.